Let's get started. Welcome, as always, to a lovely Thursday East Coast afternoon, East Coast US afternoon, that is. And it is time for our weekly AMA. Excited to get it going. We are going to do a couple of updates, and then we'll go into some questions. And then we actually have some community-themed updates that we will go through at the end, as well as a very special guest coming up to tell us about something that they've got going on. But to get started, I actually wanted to start out by turning it over to Dreamer to talk about a couple of updates / reminders.
Cool. Hello, everybody. A few reminders out there. We're going to try to start to share a couple of reminders each week as well, since it's a good opportunity to. But Tokenomics Committee this week, we were reviewing a number of agenda items. One of them were token offerings. So right in the game in Crystal Vale, if you go to Meditation Circle, you notice the stump that was added there, I don't know, about a year ago. And this was, has it been a year? I feel like it has. This was initially added as a new burn mechanic. So everybody's likely familiar with the raffle system. This kind of works like that, where different offerings run each day, and people can use locked or liquid tokens to put into the offering. And these are burned, and we mint items for the winner. We've been watching this, and I think the usage has actually been trending downward. So the whole point of this was to add deflationary measures in the game, and sometimes these aren't necessarily deflationary. The amount of tokens put into the offering do not exceed like what we're actually minting every once in a while, and sometimes they do. So just wanted to remind people that is there. There's some pretty valuable things that come out of there. For those that have forgotten about it, take a look. For those that know about it, don't like it, don't use it. We're paying attention, and if it's not a desired feature in the game, we may adjust it just to make sure that from a tokenomics perspective, it's doing what it's really meant to, and that is not meant to be over minting what we're burning. It's meant to be doing the other way, and sometimes it's been really, really successful. So considering some ways that we can put reminders right in game, but these things all take time away from other things. So starting with a reminder here, a couple other reminders. We have two pretty cool visages out there. Go over to the tavern, go to the visage shop, one of which is the second Karate Combat promotional visage. This one is a black gi with a gold belt. It's called the champion gi because that's what their champions wear, at least on the gold belt side. I don't think they always have to wear black, but it looks pretty good in the game. And there is a giveaway with this one as well. Bolin, can you remind me the number? Was it 1.5?
1.5 million karate.
1.5 million karate. However, this is being given to a limited number of winners. I believe that number is at 50.
It is indeed.
So each purchase gets an entry to be one of the 50 winners, and it's essentially that 1.5 million divided by 50. So if you do the math, and depending on the prices and everything, which will vary, it's a pretty chunky prize. I think last time we split the pool evenly per purchase, which is an interesting way to do it, and now we're trying something a little bit different. So if you like the visage, and if you want to take part in that promotion, and you've been enjoying using karate in the voting system that they have, go check it out. The other one that I think only has about half the time is the karate gi. The karate gi's got like 15 days left since we do the promotional ones for about a month. The chef hat, and what do we call the body? Chef suit, I think. Chef hat and chef suits, they've got less than a week. So for those that like the chef look and like having fun there, go check those out. Outside of that, reminders that the promotional fights details are getting more clear now because Karate Combat finished their event last week. February 23rd, Mexico City is intended to be the event for the Influencer Fight Club. Expect more of that to come out. We appreciate any support or interest in that. Grady is meant to be fighting. I am meant to be fighting. a few other bigger names like Crypto Crow, BitBoy, and others. So more to come on that as we get closer to actual travel plans and people getting cleared from the doctor and it kind of getting crunch time now. On my side, I'm down about 13 pounds. It's been the hardest thing I've had to do in a very, 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 very long time. It's going to be a unique opportunity, not only for me personally, but for us to get exposure. If you notice, last Friday, for any that tuned in to the Karate Combat stream, we had DeFi Kingdoms there right on the pit. It's pretty cool to see. You know, I've been a fan of combat sports for a long time, and it was a pretty cool thing to tune in and see that. We didn't necessarily ask them to do that. We had a trailer to run, and they actually had a shift in their timeline of the broadcast. I don't think they got to run it, but they kind of volunteered on their side to put DeFi Kingdoms right on the pit, which I think is awesome. It's good to have partners, good to co-market and continue to work with people on getting exposure out there. So those are a couple updates. Back over to you, Bolan.
Wind jewel-shaped octagon. But one thing I did want to plug, just as a reminder, with the combat karate gi, do make sure you put in your Hedera address at the time of checkout if you want to be entered into that drawing. And please make sure that your Hedera address is associated with karate combat. So the easiest way, realistically, especially if you don't already have a Hedera wallet, is to just download the Karate Combat app, and it will create you a Hedera wallet, and then your problem solved. But if you already have one, or whatever the case may be, make sure that you actually go and connect it to Karate Combat, because it has to be associated for them to be able to send the prize, and we don't want anyone not getting their prize. So, cool. We do have another update, well, slash also a question that we're going to answer, I guess, a little bit of both. But one topic that we've seen come up a handful of time from the community, and we just wanted to take a little bit of time to speak on it, is how Joule actually, like how Joule works on DFK Chain and between DFK Chain and Harmony with the Synapse bridge. So I'm going to turn it over to, I believe Fox was going to start it off, but others may chime in as well to kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Synapse, when we first expanded to the Avalanche ecosystem with our own subnet, we looked at a lot of different partners for bridges. And Synapse was one we were very impressed with because of the way they handle their security and their infrastructure. And it was the clear choice for us. And it's been a really good choice. They are always on top of things every time that we've interacted with them. So the way it works, usually for bridges, is you'll have sort of like a mint and burn approach where you'll have a source chain and you'll bridge assets from that chain by basically transferring them to the bridge contract. And then that bridge will mint assets on the other chain to represent those over there. And then as they get bridged back, then it will basically burn those and then release them on the other side. For Harmony and our subnet, it was a little different because one, Joule was the gas token for the subnet, so it's not even apples to apples with the ERC20. And then the other thing is the ERC20 on Harmony is held a little differently because it can't be minted or burned over there. So we did want the source of truth to be our subnet. It's the home of Joule. It's where it's used for gas, etc. So at the start, we went and minted all 500 million joules at the time. Since then, we did change the tokenomics, and it was reduced to 125 million. So we did burn 350 million at that, or 375 million. I can math sometimes at that time. So that has been done. But the way it works, and correct me if I'm wrong, Magnus or Huber, I know you guys also know a lot about this. So if I misspeak, let me know. But to bridge joules from Harmony, they actually transfer those to the contract there. And what we did on the other side for DFK Chain was we basically transferred the amount of joules that were on Harmony over to the Synapse contract so that it can just release them. It's not actually doing any minting. It's actually just like releasing them. And then as they bridge back, it kind of has that happen in the other direction as well. So that's how that works. The bridging from DFK Chain to Klaytn and to Avalanche C Chain and elsewhere is handled in the traditional mint and burn way that I explained earlier as well. So that's sort of an overview of how it works. We do regularly speak with them about their security practices and ensure things are on the up and up, which they always have been. And you know, it's a thing that we need to stay ever vigilant with, because that is a very constant source of like hacks in this space tend to really look at bridges and really target that. And that's why it's such a very careful choice for us that we went with Synapse. And it's a thing that we need to stay on top of as well. Anything you'd like to add to that, Magnus or Hubert?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the initial mint of Joule on DFK chain was specified in the Genesis file of the chain, since it was done as gas. And then if you check the dead address, you'll see there's 375 million Joule as gas that was burned there. So go verify for yourself as well. And then yeah, it's just wanted to mention that Synapse doesn't have mint permissions. It's kind of done at the chain level with that safety there.
One other thing I'll just add real quick, and it's not super relevant today, but just a little bit of history, I guess. So when we were going through that process and when we opened Crystal Vale, we did not put all of the Joule into the bridge contract right away. We actually had it in one of our multi-sigs and then slowly allocated it to the bridge contract as people bridged over, so that if there was any kind of issue for some unforeseen circumstance, there's a limited access to a limited amount of Joule in the bridge. And then as more and more people bridged over and claimed that Joule, we'd refill the bridge contract and then it would get claimed. And so now, you know, the majority of Joule has been bridged from Harmony to DFK chain. But we also didn't want to just front load that contract with 125 million Joule and let it sit there, just as another layer of security, just out of caution.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That was sort of an ongoing process as more and more of our like users migrated over, and it was really just a matter of not sticking all of our eggs in one basket and just like trying to be incremental and careful with it. Yep. So I think that's it for that one.
Awesome. All right. So we do have a few community themed updates that we will do at the end, but for right now, we are going to jump into some questions. So the first question is about sell orders showing in the history of the bazaar. I don't have a name for who submitted that. It's just under Jay. But Jay, if you want to reach out to us, we do know of a UI bug that's causing some glitching in the cell history, and that is on radar to be addressed. But you can definitely reach out to us, and we can get more details from you and make sure that it's the same thing, and we'll keep everyone up to date on that. And let's see, going over to Hubert and Workhorse for some combat related questions. So, a couple upcoming Void Hunt mechanic clarifications. The first one being blind. The current description of blind says that it persists until it's removed. Does that mean that in the upcoming Void Hunt, our heroes might get blinded and it would stay on for the entire hunt duration if we do not cleanse it in some way, and there is not a number of rounds affiliated with how long blind lasts?
Yep, that is indeed true. I guess kind of the philosophy behind that is also with poison, which we're not adding that mechanic quite yet, but both of those kind of require a little bit more attention by the player. They can be removed just from like the recovery mechanics. So, given enough time, it's mathematically guaranteed. I mean, not necessarily, but you should within like 100, or I guess it'd be like 30-ish turns or so, probably see a recovery happen. So like that can occur. The recovery will only remove one status effect. So if you have more than just blind, it might not get the blind. So, but yeah, we do have anti-blinding potions and anti-poison potions that were kind of built into the game from early stages, and so there's always a means where you don't necessarily need to have a priest with cleanse to do it. To get rid of it, you could use those potions to take care of it as well. So yep, that's how that works.
And for those that were paying attention, you just got a sneaky little alpha drop, but I'm not going to point it out. So you have to go back and listen and see if you pick up on it. All right. Second one, confuse. In the description for being confused, it says the afflicted's abilities have a chance to hit another random target, including self-target. Does this mean it could hit any enemy and the confused hero, or any enemy or party member of the confused hero?
Well, actually, this is going to be a pretty solid alpha drop. So I'm looking at Styx and Sergeant and Ogre and Justice Beaver all in the front row here. This is the new confuse. So what was just read is no longer accurate moving forward. It's actually pretty wordy, so I'm gonna read it here, but I'm gonna also tweet it after the EMA. But here we go. A confused combatant has a 50% chance to perform a basic attack targeting a random combatant, including itself, instead of performing their intended action. When inflicted, the duration is randomly determined between 1 to 3 turns. This hero cannot channel while confused, and there is a resistance gained of 50% confused resistance for 4 turns. Confuse also interrupts, and there is a stack limit of 1. Now that is like 18 clauses to consider. So I will tweet this out, but it is definitely a little bit different and definitely significantly spicier. So good timing, by the way.
Man, y'all got back-to-back alpha drops. Also, Dags said that he felt like he deserved a shout out there too. Hey, Dags.
Thanks, Dags.
Awesome. So keep an eye out for that tweet. Workhorse will tweet it. We'll retweet it from the DFK account as well. But a little bit of an update there that should be exciting for folks. A little alpha. Still on the topic of combat, dual wielding in combat. We have main and offhand equipment slots. Will we have dual wielding? If not, what kinds of offhand equipment could we have? And would every class be able to do something with their offhand?
So yeah, we're not planning on dual wielding in the sense of, you can equip 2 swords and hit twice, type of thing. The offhand slot is going to use it. It uses kind of a subset of the accessory NFT. So shields, for example, are technically kind of in the same category as anything like an amulet or anything else that's an accessory, but they're marked differently so that they are equipped in the offhand. So the things that could be there, I mean, shields are for sure one of them. For mage classes, we have another type of offhand that we're calling a focus. Right at the moment we don't have any of those being used in the combat system, but that is also planned. And then there is also likely going to be more options in the future, but it's not something that's kind of in our front radar right now. It's a little bit further out, and we'll have to talk about it a little bit more on where it can apply. But also, when you have like 2-handed weapons equipped, those take up that offhand slot, so you can't equip anything when you equip those. So that's kind of it really would be in cases where there are classes that can't equip 2-handed things, or if there's a class that only can equip a 2-handed thing, you'll generally never see an offhand for them per se, unless they also have like a subclass that could use it. And then you would use with their subclass weapon type for that. So That is generally how it's going. I think it'll be a little while before we do anything beyond shields and focuses, I'll say. But we have been talking about it. I have some ideas for things that we'd want to potentially do in the future.
Awesome. Appreciate the insight there. All right, switching gears for at least a moment. We may circle back to combat. You never know. Are rewards that are attainable via questing going to be removed from raffles, token offerings, dual rewards, etc., to control the inflation of those items?
Not sure if this one was intended to be a me question or somebody else.
Everybody.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can talk to that at least a little bit. I mean, we did. Well, we're kind of waiting a little bit longer because we ran into an issue with Holiday wallets not being able to vote. But we did have plans to do some adjustments to the raffle system, which, if anyone saw that back then, I'm not sure if there's still that information available, but that was kind of shows a little bit of a change to some of the rewards there. I guess in general, it's like we do have things that you can get from questing, like lesser attunement crystals you can get from questing that are also available in the raffles. And if you kind of compare like how many of those are minted versus how many like through the raffle system versus how many can be minted through questing, it's generally the larger proportion by far is on the questing side. So I guess in terms of like its impact to inflation and whatnot, we kind of see that as fairly minimal, but we also want to make sure that we're not going too hard in one direction or another. But there are things also like moksha runes and others that do have a little bit more value than others that we do see as good candidates to have included in the raffle system.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Hubert said, because actually we were talking about this week in our tokenomics meeting, and analysis was done on some of the items, not all of them, but it's currently for example, like for eggs, for example, you can get eggs from like questing, and I think like it was around under 1% of the eggs in a certain period of time that we looked at. I think it was like a week's worth of time or more were from the like raffles, but most of them are from like questing and things. And we'll be sort of looking at each item on a case by case basis, and as we need to make those adjustments, we will. But that's just an example from that side.
Yeah, and I just wanted to plug, Dreamer mentioned offerings at the beginning or early on in the AMA that, they are something that we continue to look at. And to Hubert's point on the Raffle Master rework, that sheet should still be in Discord announcements. I can go find it after this if anybody's interested, but I don't think we deleted it, so it should be there. And we are continuing to work with Holiday on getting it set up so that Holiday wallets can participate in the governance votes, and then we can run that vote back and do it the right way. But we wanted to make sure everybody was able to participate first.
And when we do have that ready, it'll be in our own interface. I'm really excited about that because it'll be the first time we've actually held a vote inside the game.
Yeah, that's super cool, actually. That'll be an awesome improvement. Cool. So thoughts on so there's a couple layers of this question, but I'm just going to start with the first one and the broad one. Thoughts on win for level 10 mining and yellow pets?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, we really do have our priorities very focused on combat at the moment, including our art priorities, and everything else is heavily focused on helping flesh out what we have as far as combat offerings. And I see that continuing to be the case for at least the next we have probably at least one other feature after this new void hunt that we would want to probably focus on before we start devoting resources back to the yellow eggs. So yeah, I realize it has been a long time to get that out, and we do want to get that out. It's just a matter of our resources that we have, and prioritizing what we think would have the largest impact at this time. So yeah, I'd say it is going to still be a little ways out. So I just want to set expectations there on that.
Yeah, and I'll just add real quick before we go to the next part of the question. I've seen a couple people, with the thought process of like, well, we're making the visages, so the art team has some resources that could be going into yellow eggs. Very different lifts. There's I think like 180 of each pet color, and the pets are a lot more heavier art design than the visages necessarily need to be. So just very, very different types of workload. And then let's see. So the second part of that question: what is the future of the power token mining quest once all locked tokens are vested? Which kind of ties into the next question. So I'm gonna hit you with both of them, Hubert. Do we plan to increase the number of miners that can be used per wallet via additional mining quests for other materials?
Great questions. Yeah, so with the power token mining, that's essentially kind of getting close, at least in Crystal Vale, to no longer being necessary, as we'll have completely everything being unlocked and circulating at that point. So at that point, that quest generally is like going to be retired. So it'll still be available in Serendale for the time being until that also reaches the end of its unlocking period. But yes, we do have plans to have other mining quests that are not for just gold. With the crafting system, you are going to need ore and other types of metals to be able to forge weapons and armor. And so the plan is for miners to be a source of collecting those things. So that will be something in the works in the future. But for a period of time at least, there will be just the gold mining quest available. But I guess with that said, I'll just also throw out something with how we're designing expeditions. We are setting it up so I guess in general with expeditions, we're trying to design it so that it minimizes any need to multi-wallet to as much of an extent as is feasible, which there's a little bit with gardening where it's still not, but for gold mining, you wouldn't be limited to only having like 3 teams of miners working most efficiently, and then any excess teams not really being able to be used. So just mentioning that's a thing, so everyone's not worried that mining is going to be half as effective after that point. So yep.
Awesome. All right, let's see. Actually, switching back to combat for a moment. Thoughts on having the like all of the combat info, the formulas, whatnot, in game. I know we've talked about like a side-by-side weapon comparison before.
Yep, that's definitely things we want to have. I think in general, there's we have our focus on just getting the combat system out, and kind of a downside to that is we aren't able to spend as much time on a lot of the communication of how things work and like tutorials and things like that. But as we move forward and get more things out, we do want to include things like like the weapon compare, like telling, like having the formulas and showing, being able to see basically the stats of your hero as it pertains to combat without you actually having to be in combat. And a few other things like when you're selecting skills for your heroes, right now it just kind of shows the equation, but it doesn't say what that means for your specific hero. And in some cases we do have the like mechanics like recovery and evasion and your speed. All of those are kind of dependent on the level, the average level of the fight you're doing. and like the level of your hero compared to the average. So like there's some degree of like how much we can show you and how much we can't, that it's going to, like, some things are going to be a little bit different when you're in the fight. If your guy's level 10 but the average level's level 12, for example, some of those variables will go down a little bit, but we can at least show, for if you were fighting doing a fight that's at your level of that hero, like what it would do. So these are general things that are basically all on Beetle's list somewhere in there, but it's quite a long list. So, and it might, as we move forward, we also have others like Mr. Zipper that can help kind of fill in some of those gaps as well. So, but he also has quite a long list too. So definitely something really, really want to do. I think a lot of the pain points that we have with just getting people to understand the game is just how things are communicated and kind of a lack of tutorials about how things work. So that's something that I'd love to get done, and it's definitely on our list of things we want to do, and just it's a matter of when we can get to it. So
perfect. Speaking of Beetledude's list, thoughts on switching up how inventory is shown? It's currently in alphabetical order, but having it done by grouping, such as plants, fish, etc. I'll just add, that is why we added the like sub pages, so that you can jump into just only plants. But any other thoughts on that front from anybody? I'll take that as a no. All right, rocking and rolling along. Let's see, you got a question for Dreamer. Can Dreamer elaborate on the partnership with George from Cryptos R Us? Does he advise on the game aspects for DFK or just on Kingdom Studios affairs? And is he compensated for his advisory, and or for his advisory role? And if so, how is that funded?
Excuse me, sorry. So question on George's so George, Cryptos R Us George, one of our advisors. What does he do? So I think since the show, The Next Crypto Gem, he's been giving us various forms of advice. We stay in touch some weeks, like multiple times a day, every single day. And other times, for a days or a week or so, less contact. But I would say ranging from marketing, leadership, barriers to entry within the game and platform compared to others, since he is talking to a lot of other projects and just doing his own personal research. He has a really good the perspective, I think. And so I don't remember everything that was listed in the question, but I don't think I heard anything that would be not included. So not only things as it relates to marketing and his expertise, but actually a lot more deeper conversations. There's been a couple of times when he's met with the entire board. I think he met with Bolon once to actually get a demo of the game, to learn more about the game and be aware of that and give some feedback. So yeah, I think the value add is not only in the realm of like marketing and things, but pretty much from biz dev, strategy, leadership, gameplay, and others. Compensation side, with all these agreements, they're held confidential. So we're not going to be sharing that out of respect there. There's not really ongoing compensation of any sort. It was kind of upside within the game and platform to be aligned up front. And it's been great so far. We like working with George and look forward to working with him in the future.
Can confirm. Awesome. Appreciate you, Dreamer. Let's see. You got another one to throw at you, Hubert. Will enchantments have their own durability values separate from the actual piece of equipment that has been enchanted?
No, they will not. It's we didn't design the system to work that way. It's a permanent enhancement to the equipment that gets enchanted. So yeah, I guess it's all going to be tied to the durability of that equipment is how how long it can last at that point.
Awesome. Let's see. When BYOP releases, are we planning on a promotion similar to pet crafting or pet treat crafting? You can't craft pets. You can craft their treats, though. That if you craft a bunch of potions, you will get, extra potions or whatever else.
Yeah, so for this one, no, we're not really planning on any sort of promotion like that. I mean, we are looking at, just all of our tokens and considering different things. But for this, yeah, we don't have anything planned as far as the promotion goes.
Awesome. Let's see. Any plans to do a possible Valentine's Day event aside from potentially a Visage? Uh, we are planning on doing something for Chinese New Year's, actually, and stay tuned for some details on that. I believe probably like mid next week. There'll be some additional info on that. But because we'll be doing something for Chinese New Year's, which overlaps with Valentine's Day, I don't believe we have anything planned for Valentine's Day. If anybody wants to speak up and tell me I'm wrong, feel free. But I believe that is our current plan. Taking that as a yes. Good deal. Let's see. So we got time to snag a couple more, and then we will go into some community side updates. Let's see. This would be probably primarily a Beetle Dude question, but I'll see if one of you wants to answer it. When summoning a new hero, is it possible to have an interface like when your hero comes out of the portal, you click on it to see the card? Would it be possible to add to that interface options to do with that hero, like transfer to another wallet, send to a quest, bridge, that kind of thing? No takers? All right, I'll add it to the list. Go ahead, Hubert.
Oh, I was distracted by chat, so I was just asking if that was a me question.
Yeah, can you repeat that
Oh, no,
question, actually? Sorry.
Yeah, I gotcha. So when summoning a new hero, it comes out of the portal, you click on it, you can see the card. Would it be possible to add to that interface options to do with that hero? So like transfer to another wallet, send to a quest, bridge the hero, that kind of thing on that interface.
As opposed to just opening it up in your hero's view and doing it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't know if it's going to be one of the things that's going to get attention first. Probably what I'll say. Of course, I'm not Beetle Dude. So.
I would say that's fair. Awesome. But yeah, I will. I'll shoot that over to Beetle for consideration as well. Let's see. This one probably is for you, Hubert. So listen up out of chat. I know chat's always pulling us all away. There's a question last week about gardens that I thought was going somewhere else, and now I want to know about something else. Could we allow gardeners to farm on user-created pools like the Rockroot Crystal LP?
I mean, if we did that, we wouldn't be able, as far as the math goes, we would have to be a whole new system, because everything is based on how things are incentivized and how much of an incentivized pool you have. So if we're talking about non-incentivized pools, that's if we wanted there to be any sort of payout from the quest fund, we'd have to devise a whole entire new system for that. If it's just a matter of just having more pools to be able to quest at, but not necessarily including anything from the quest fund as rewards, we are also kind of considering some things with that, just to handle excess gardeners. But I guess that's all I can say for now. But it's kind of have similar kind of thoughts along the lines of what we're going to be doing with gold mining with expeditions, at least.
I was wondering how far you were going to go on that one today. Let's see. All right. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to find my next question. At what point do we anticipate releasing PvE content for lower level heroes?
Not that far away, actually. We do, we've been focusing on void hunts so far, but we also do have plans to have non-void hunt combat things in the game as well, so that we can have more, I guess, lower level content, something kind of more akin to like random encounters in RPGs that you might expect, where it's not necessarily a boss fight where everything's level scaled and meant to be a challenge the whole time. So that is something that we are, we do have cooking in the background. It's not being actively worked on very, very heavily at the moment, but we will be turning our attention to it before too long, I'd say.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun. Questions about weapons / equipment in general. The weapons that can currently be obtained from the boar hunt, do we foresee them being effective in the next hunt? And then, obviously, as we go to higher and higher levels, phasing out? Is that our anticipation of the equipment system?
Yeah, so I'll say they are definitely effective in the next hunt. If you don't have them, it's much harder as far as how things have been going with our balance testing so far, and that's kind of our intent, is for it to be more challenging, but less challenge, but more manageable if you have equipment on your guys. So that's what we're doing there. As far as like for higher level content and whatnot. I guess just with really most, I can't really think of an example from really any RPG where, something that's like half as much levels below, like if something's intended for level 10 versus a piece of equipment that's intended for level 20, almost in all cases, that is the level 20 gear is going to be generally better, at least in terms of being able to do damage output. But there could be certain bonuses on certain pieces of equipment that even though it's a lower level piece, it still has value just because of the bonuses that it provides. So, I think it'll still be better to have the like level 10 gear for like level 20 content versus having no gear. There'd be like no way you'd survive with no gear at that point. And right now we do have in the void hunts for heroes that don't have any equipment, since we're not really providing any other options besides what you can get from the hunts currently. Like eventually we will be taking that away, that extra gear that you're borrowing from the Hunters Guild, and having that gear available just within the game that you can acquire through different means. So once that becomes the case, then it'll be up to the player to have their heroes equipped, and if they're not, they're going to have a hard time accomplishing much in anything but the lowest level of combat.
Awesome. I'm gonna snag one more question real quick because I don't think an answer exists. Why is Bolon the way that he is? If anybody has a shot at that, feel free, because I can't answer it.
I think I have a quote from
Oh God,
from your brother saying you were born with a battery stuck up your butt or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like him.
You have more
I blame
energy
Mountain
than
Dew.
anyone I've ever met in my life. I swear, like every now and then I'll be up until, I don't know, 3 or 4 a.m. doing something, and I'll look, and over there's Bolon still online, and he's always online when I wake up too in the morning. So it's just, I don't know when he sleeps.
The funniest was the day in Slack you replied to something and I replied and you were like, is Bolon still awake or already awake? I'm like, we both know the answer to that. It's always awake. I blame Florida and Mountain Dew. That's all I gotta say.
Yep.
So with that, we're gonna jump into a couple of community updates real quick, including a special surprise guest. First and foremost, I wanted to touch on Donate. So Donate is a tool built by two noobs, a tool designed for streamers where they can add it to their stream and their viewers are able to tip them through the tool. He had already integrated some of the DFK assets like Jade and I think Jewel, but on Klaytn and Bloaters. He has now officially integrated DFK Chain directly. So Crystal is now in the mix as well, and DFK Chain assets are now directly available. It's a really, really cool tool. It's going to be getting added to the castle. So you'll be seeing that listing soon. We're just finalizing everything with two noobs to get that up and running. But super cool tool, especially for you streamers. Definitely check it out. Tips. Everybody loves tips. So wanted to give him a shout out. Also, I think we mentioned it before, but if we didn't, I'm just going to preemptively jump the gun. Sorry. But Sticks Intern and Wowie will also be being added to the castle. Very much looking forward to having office hours and 6-hour Wowie streams. I love them. They're my favorite. No offense to anybody else. But so all of those will be being added to the castle here in the short term. So you will be seeing those listing announcements coming soon. Second update is the Mythic Squad Hunts tournament that was conducted last weekend. I was asked by Sticks Intern to let y'all know that so many people made it through that their playoff system was not going to work and they had to redesign one. So stay tuned on the Mythic Squad Medium. Sticks Intern's going to be putting out an article there on the new playoff system. But congratulations to everybody who beat every affix. That's incredible. I looked at it and went, I think I might be able to get through round one, maybe. So that's absolutely incredible. Huge shout out to y'all. Mythic Squad, Sticks Intern, huge shout out to you guys again for putting that together and hosting it. It was awesome. I was not able to be there for very long, unfortunately, but it was a lot of fun. I've heard nothing but positives about it. It was just really cool to see the community come together on that.
I think I owe a fair amount of people some Jewel.
Yeah, you do.
How many won?
I don't know. Sticks Intern, you
Wasn't
want to
it
hop
like
up real
12 or
quick?
something? I don't know.
I think 11 or 12, maybe 14.
Whatever you say.
So get your jewel ready. But yeah, so very excited for that. Stay tuned for the playoffs details. That'll be a lot of fun as well. They will be live streamed again, and we'll have a good time. Oh, here's Sticks Intern. Good, Sticks Intern.
Hi, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on here, but thank you for having me on again. I like it. It feels comfy up here. But Fox, so we had 11 contestants win, and I knew that some people had been practicing these things for about a month. So when you said 500, I took that as 500 to the champions prize, not the every person. And I've worked out a deal with the finalists, but I'm not going to say this precludes you from doing if you want to give it to everyone, go for it. All 11 of them, I won't stop you from doing that. But I've worked out a deal where everyone who beat it does get a little something from the Mythic Squad. And then I had planned to put that 500 that I had assumed you meant to go to the champion's purse. That is staying as the prize pool for the ultimate champion after our playoff bracket happens. And I'm going to be releasing the details on that tonight Pacific time, so tomorrow probably for most of you, because it'll be very late in the evening. I got a lot of work to do today. But that said, yeah, the details are going to be coming out tonight, and it's going to be a playoff bracket with a round of 11. And if you want to pay all of them 500, Jewel, I will not tell you to not to. So if you want to do
that was what I said. So yeah, all of the people that beat all 6, that's the 500. I'll add another 500 into the champion pot too.
Wow, what a legend! All right, I will get you their names. I'll send you a Discord DM just so you have all their contact info. Or even better, I'm collecting their wallets anyway, so I can just send you the wallets if that's easier.
That'd be best. Thank you.
Okay, will do.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Sticks Intern and Mythic Squad. And now we have another upcoming community event, and our very own Crypto Meme is here to honk at us on behalf of the Geeses.
What up, honk? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm so happy that actually happened. Thank you. So what you got planned?
So yeah, we're gonna do a dark summoning event tomorrow. It's Friday for everybody except Kimmy, and we're gonna be dark summoning some heroes. And the first to get, an elite class mythic hero, or get a purple ability, or we got a few prizes for that. We got prizes for like the ruggiest potato. So like if you get really badly rugged on a dread or something, you got a chance to win a prize for that. Depending on how many people show up, we'll probably just end up giving like door prizes, loot bags, kind of thing.
And sorry, I got a phone call, so my audio cut out for a second. Did you say when it's happening?
That's tomorrow at 4:20.
And where?
That'll be in the Goose channel, like in the Discord. We'll have a voice chat set up specifically for that.
Awesome. And if you are not in the Goose server, there is an invite in the guild information channel in Discord, and I'm sure that it will be posted as well, and we can make an allowance for that. But yeah, it should be a super fun event. Go out there and throw some heroes in the pit and see what comes out. I love that y'all are including a prize for the worst result, because I'd win it. So that's super cool. Anything else you want people to know about it?
No, there's no fee. Just come join. You don't have to be Goose or anything. Just come hang out.
Awesome. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. If you're around, check it out. Even if you just want to watch, even better if you want to participate. But go hang out and watch some people burn some heroes. See what they get. Everybody loves to see good drops. Awesome. Before we go back to meme for our bullish and wrap up for the day, anybody have any final thoughts? Anything I forgot to say? Anything else? All right, meme.
Bullish.
Oh, that was a good one. Bullish.
Bullish.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you all.
Thanks, guys.
We will see you all next week.